Roadsters, you're watching Michelle on the Move. Today we're going to visit the quaint town of Alpine, Texas, which is located in the Big Bend area of Texas. We're going to head on over to the Information Center where we're going to talk to the assistant manager. She's going to give us some good advice on the secret little spots to go to Alpine. We're going to visit Sul Ross State University campus. There we're going to meet up with Matt, who's going to give us a tour of the Big Bend Museum, which is located within the actual campus of Sul Ross State University. And then we're going to head to the Hotel Ritchey, which is the oldest wooden hotel functioning now in Alpine. We're going to meet up with Mark and Maddie, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about Hotel Ritchey. So come along with us on our journey of Alpine, Texas. You're watching Michelle on the Move.
We deal with tourism, and I'm the assistant manager here, and so we help promote Alpine. We give information, brochures, answer questions, tell people where the good spots are to eat and stay and what to do in Alpine. And for the most part, we have something going on every weekend. Hancock Hill. There's an old metal desk, been there like since 1979. If you open the drawer, you can sign in or write something, and then it is archived after it's full. It's about a 25-minute hike. It's got a beautiful scenery. Once you reach the top, you can see all of Alpine, and that's where our other postcard is from.
Oh, okay. Is it like a uphill type?
Not really. It's not real steep. I mean, it's easy to get there. Driving tour, which the main thing on the driving tour is the baseball field. We have a classic baseball field. It's been featured in several different sports magazines, compared it to a Wrigley field. And now we have a semi-pro team, the 06 Cowboys. About 10 years ago, they brought them back, and so they're a lot of fun. They only play in the summer. It's a semi-pro league, and they play in the summer. We also have a Sul Ross baseball team. Grown in the music industry, and I'm a big fan of music. So I say we're like a little mini Austin, because we have a lot of musicians in our area, and so you'll find music throughout the town. And so if I can listen to some live music, that's where you'll find me.
Yes.
There's the old Crystal Bar, which has been around a long time, and they have shuffleboard, pool tables. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, first I'll give you a little history of the building.
Okay.
The building is going to be built in 1936 as part of the Texas Centennial Project.
Okay.
This is during the Great Depression. There's no money. But the Vice President of the United States was John Nance Garner from Uvalde, Texas, and he got special money just for Texas for us to celebrate our 100th anniversary of independence from Mexico. And with that money, they're going to build Fair Park in Dallas and 9 museums around the state, the Centennial Museums. And so this will be one of them, built by the WPA workers and the Sul Ross students. They're going to build the building, and then they're going to measure it. And the museum then reopened in the basement of the Sul Ross bowling alley, which doesn't exist anymore. And then later on, we got the first floor of Lawrence Hall. And so we have a fair amount of artifacts from them, from that location. Things like the bow and arrow, the addle-addle, the tump line drag, sandals, digging stick for planting corn along the river, fire starter, rubbing the two together. And so all this comes from the Humanos, and we know a lot about them because of this guy, Cabeza de Vaca. He comes through the Big Bend. He's part of the Narvaez expedition, 1527. This way is not that far along after Columbus.
Yeah.
And he leaves Cuba with part of this 300-man expedition. They get caught in a hurricane, founder off the coast of Florida. The survivors then make rafts to try to get back to Cuba, but instead the rafts bring them to where Galveston, Texas is today. By then, most of them, there's only a small percentage that have survived, but Cabeza de Vaca is able to save the life. He's the medical officer for that expedition. He's able to save the life of the son of the Quaker chief. And this is some of the stuff the Spanish bring with them. For the first time, you have horses, you got beasts of burden, you got oxen, you got horseshoes, you got bits and spurs and stirrups. Now, the first thing that actually bring people out here to the Big Bend is gold, but not gold in Texas, gold in California. After the U.S.-Mexico War and gold's discovered in California, the gold rush is going to start. And one of the main ways that people are going to get there is along the San Antonio, El Paso, Sacramento road. And that road is going to open up, and to protect the travelers along that road, the Army is going to build a series of forts. Fort Davis, Texas, right up the road, the best preserved of all those frontier forts. And so this is a store that existed in Marfa, Texas. This is the Fuentes store that existed for more than 40 years, and she donated her entire store to the museum. Wow. There's her grains that she sold. This was her first cash register. That's her last cash register.
Oh, wow.
You can see all the stuff she sold, everything you needed to make clothing, and of course your hats and your boots and your medicine, and everything you needed for school was your big chief. And
Wow.
your cigarette rolling machine all the way on the left.
Look at the store, baby.
Her stove.
Big Chief sketch pads that we used to write on in kindergarten.
Yep.
Hi Roadsters, we are on Hancock Hill behind the campus of Sul Ross State University here in Alpine, Texas. One of the secret locations to Sul Ross is the infamous desk. So we are climbing this hill behind me to go visit it, sign in, and just take in the scene. Supposedly you're supposed to see the whole city of Alpine from up there. So follow me and we're gonna go find out what this desk thing is all about. So come on. We made it to the Sul Ross desk here behind Sul Ross State University. Alpine is in the hills, as you can see around me. Right behind Sul Ross are two twin mountains, is what they call them. So you hike up the mountain, and there's this neat little desk here that somebody brought up here in the 60s or 70s. People have been coming to it ever since. It is in one of the top things to do in Alpine, so I wanted to give you a little sneak peek of what it looks like. It is difficult to get to, difficult to find. It's kind of one of a secret little spot that only people from Alpine and people that go to Sul Ross know about. If you Google it, it takes you to a private road that literally has signs that say, "This is not the way to the desk," in increments, which is kind of funny. So you have to actually go to the Sul Ross campus behind the facilities building in entrance number 3. Climb up that hill behind it. Problem with that is there are a bunch of different trails that people take. Put it on your Google Maps, it'll walk you right to it. Kind of a neat little thing. You can sign in the logbook. The lady at the information center said that once some people come up here, I guess, and pick up the notebooks, and then they archive them. So you'll forever be at the Sul Ross desk, which is kind of cool.
Saw you from across the room. When our eyes met, I never knew that I could feel this way, and it's kind of strange. Don't even know your name.
We're going to be touring this in the morning. We wanted to come tonight just to kind of get the night feel to it, see what it looked like. On the weekends, they have live music here, as do many of the places in Alpine. Really cool back court area that's got some mood lighting. It's got this really cool adobe bricking around here. Nice atmosphere. Lots of people, younger crowd, kind of college crowd. What would you say, early 20s, kind of early, late 20s. Tonight they're having some sort of story time. They call it Nerd Night, about wolves and vampires. So we're gonna check it out.
You've been upstairs. You've
We
got.
haven't yet. We were gonna do that right before.
I think it's nerd night.
That's
I'm
what
sure
they said.
someone said that.
Yes.
And I think they're set up upstairs. I'm not sure if they
Okay.
started the whole nerdy thing or not, but it's fun and definitely should go on YouTube. 'Cause
Okay,
it's,
cool.
It's a hoot. Nerd night is. I don't know if anybody explained it,
So
but
it's
it's
like a story time, or
kind of. It kind of like a story time. It would be like individuals sign up to say. To talk about whatever subject they know or a ridiculously nerdy amount of
Okay.
information about.
Okay.
And then people sign up, and so then we post it that it's going to be, the theme is birds, you know,
Okay.
and so the first person gets up and talks about everything he knows about owls, and the next person gets up and talks everything he knows about eggs, and
Okay.
you know, goes, and it's just insanely nerdy, and you're riveted, and you're like, I
Wow.
didn't know I cared.
yeah.
Now I know all this stuff about butterflies, you know, and it could be anything. I mean, for Halloween last year, it was we had one speaker that was proving scientifically that zombies.
Zombies.
That
I was trying to help you.
That zombies are real. So you know, but she's got a PhD.
Adamant about it.
And she was proving it beyond a shadow of a doubt scientifically. So it's that kind of nerdy thing. You
Are
know,
they like up there?
I don't know. Let's go find
Okay.
out.
Safe in Celtic tradition. One of the most famous accounts of a werewolf, however, is in medieval France. First, early ages France, like late 12th century, early 13th century. I don't speak or read French, so anyone in here who does, just pretend like you don't for a second. Bisclebre was the story, one of the most famous stories of a werewolf, reported by Marie de France in 1198, and the story is of a nobleman who is turned into a werewolf through a curse that is put on him by his adulterous wife. And if he doesn't, and she keeps hiding his clothes from him, and so he's at risk of remaining a wolf forever if he can't find his clothes. He does eventually end up catching his wife and becoming a man again, basically through his benevolent heart and also through the help of a raven and with a magic.
We try to do it about once a month. I'm sorry, I should be looking at the camera, but I'm fixated on the nerd night because it's
Stand
right
here.
in there. See? You can't take your eyes off of it. We try to do it every month if possible. Every month we pick a topic, or sort of a broad topic, and it can be something like cactus, and then everyone who has something they want to say about cactus can get up and you sign up, and then we usually have 2 or 3 speakers who get up and do a little presentation, and it's always fun. It's lighthearted, and you end up learning things you didn't know you cared about. So, and I think tonight we've got a werewolf theme going because we're a week away from Halloween. Yeah, that's just one of the many interesting things we try to do at the Ritchey. We have live music every week, but we also try to have we have like poetry slams and doing one-act plays, and I think we're getting ready to do a comedy night here coming up soon. We're getting that organized.
Hey y'all, thank you for joining me on my little journey of Alpine. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I love this little town. It is very quaint, and I hope you got more familiar with Alpine. We visited the information center where we got a whole bunch of useful information on where to go, where to eat, what to see, what to do while you're here in Alpine. So Michelle on the Move got an exclusive tour of the Big Bend Museum from Matt. He gave us the hour-and-a-half tour condensed into about 15 minutes, but I still learned a lot about Texas history going through this little museum. Lots of artifacts, lots of things just from that section of Texas alone. So if you're a history buff, I highly recommend you go check out the Big Bend Museum. I will link Matt's information and the Big Bend Museum information in the description below. Go check them out. Learned a lot of information. We headed on over to the desk located behind Sul Ross State University. Little known secret gem in Alpine. that the locals know about, students at Sul Ross know about. So I was kind of very excited to go hike up that mountain and go check it out. So we are archived, Michelle on the Move in Alpine, Texas. One of my favorite parts of this whole video was heading on over to the Hotel Ritchey, where we talked to Mark and Maddie. Maddie is the current owner of the Hotel Ritchey, and she is renovating this entire place. It still has some of the original walls standing from the 1800s. They gave us a private tour of the upstairs of the facility where you could see the actual sections of the rooms that were teeny tiny, just enough for somebody to kind of lay their head and rest, and that's about it. But it was really neat to see. It still has dirt adobe brick within the upstairs section of it. You could kind of just feel the history in that room. It was a very cool vibe. They have turned it into a wine and beer saloon. They have a nice courtyard outside where they currently do poetry slamming, they do live music, they are opening a kitchen pretty soon, and gonna start a comedy show as well. So I'm also gonna link the description to the Hotel Ritchey below, where you can go and check them out. Give them a shout out on Facebook. Go check out the hotel if you're in the city. Very cool spot to hang out. It's one of the only places in Alpine that you can listen to music, eat, and drink at the same time. Other sections of the town have eat and drink, or drink and listen to music, but not do all three in one spot. So that's what they got special going for them. They also have what is lovingly known as Nerd Night that we learned about if you watched the video. Learned a lot about vampires that I didn't know. Quirky little thing that they do there. Lots of college kids hang out there, so it's something that they like to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a great time just letting y'all get to know where I'm currently working, and one of the benefits of being a travel nurse is I get to go and do cool things like this and share it with you guys. So hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you haven't subscribed to Michelle on the Move, go ahead and hit that button down there. Subscribe to my channel, give me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you want to see. Turn your notification bell on so that you know when Michelle on the Move posts, and I will see you guys soon. We also got a personal tour from Matt, who works at Big Bend Museum. So I'm gonna lick I'm gonna lick some information in the description box.